Everybody shut up and action. So is Sing a good movie? Hell yes. Oh my goodness gracious. I apologize. I watched this movie years ago when I was a kid and it first came out. I watched a bit at home. I stopped an hour in thinking it was cringy. I wasn't really paying attention to begin with. And I apologize, man. I watched this movie again today because I watched it as a kid. I thought it was cringy. I thought it was bad. I saw a lot of talk of people praising it like it was one of the greatest films ever made, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it a movie another chance. I know I wasn't really paying attention to begin with, and I know that tastes change over time. Movies you thought were bad might actually turn out to be masterpieces now to you, and movies you thought were masterpieces in the past might just be cringy trash movies. And this movie turned out to be an absolute gorgeous masterpiece. Oh my goodness gracious. One thing about me is that I like movies that make me feel something. Movies that inspire me, movies that play with my emotions, movies that keep me at the edge of my seats, movies with just a great story in general, something about good characters, intriguing characters with intriguing stories, with just something about them that really hooks you, attaches you to their character, charismatic characters. I love movies that inspire me, motivate me, even it could be something completely unrelated in an other thing entirely, even in its tiniest detail, and something just happens that makes them the most inspirational character for me in my life. And this movie is just a beautiful story of inspiration, never giving up, tropes I absolutely love, and this movie was just absolutely phenomenal. I am in love with it. I will gladly rewatch it any day. It is one of the greatest movies I've watched recently, and honestly, it is one of the biggest motivational movies you can watch out there. This is the movie about a guy who's fascinated with the theater ever since he was a kid, and his father worked day and night to make sure that he would be able to afford the theater so that he would be able to buy it for him, and he did. And now it's up to this kid to make this theater and bring it back, revitalize it all the way to its grand majesticness that it was when he was a kid, and he fell in love with it. But unfortunately for him, the theater has kind of fallen off. People aren't really interested in going to the theater. There's no interestingly good shows. He's got this entire creative mind and vision, but he's heavily in debt. There's not much he can do. How can he re-stir up this entire theater before he loses it to the bank? So yeah, it's the story about him holding a talent show for $100,000 prize mistakenly, which he now has to find a way to get the money for while getting his competitors ready to try and raise money so that he can make money. And oh my goodness gracious, this entire story has you hooked to tooth and bones, with the ending like being of this absolute beautiful ending where, once again, if you don't know about this about me, I like talking about movies. I like talking about going into spoilers. I'm talking to you about how a movie made me feel, what I thought about a movie, and I'm just going straight into spoilers. So if you don't want this movie spoiled, this is your spoiler warning. 3, 2, 1, here we go. Alright, so this movie's ending was absolutely majestic. I know I'm jumping over everything right to the ending because the ending is the thing that was the most heartwarming, blessed thing about the entire movie. It's this entire story about, after all this difficulty, after all this trauma he goes through, all his optimism, all of his constant perseverance to try and make this work, whether it's stealing electricity from the buildings next door to get the electricity working in his building, to just sleuthing around to make sure that he doesn't have to worry about paying rent right now for the mortgage or whatever it is for his theater, trying to weasel his way to say he has money when he doesn't so that he can offer a cash prize while he's trying to impress a sponsor, the woman who performed when he was a child, to make him fall in love with the theater, and he's trying to impress her so that she'll sponsor the $100,000 to keep the theater alive, because she would also like to keep the theater alive if it's worth it. And he's willing to do whatever it takes. He's willing to put in the work. He is not trying to scam anyone. He's just trying to bring theater back to its greatness. And in the end, after all the destruction that has fallen upon the theater, he still hosts the show, making a comeback, giving all the performers an opportunity to perform one more time. Because most of them, all of them are different in their own ways, but at the end, most of the performers were ones that wanted to perform out of their love for performing, changing something in their lives. You have this guy who's a gorilla dude who's trying to change his life from being a criminal to someone who follows his passion of singing. You have a pig that's a mother of lots of children who's tired of just being a housewife and wants the chance to perform, sing with a passion. A girl that's super shy and wants to sing her heart out and get over her shyness. You have a lot of performance. Yes, you even have people who are just there performing for money, thinking they're better than everyone. You have the mouse that's just like this. I make a lot of money. I'm gonna scam you. I'm gonna do whatever I want. But I'm talented. You can't deny that. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. I'm a beast. And he sings, but he's only doing it for the money. And then, you know, he also does it for his ego as well. People think that other people are doing fantastic. He needs some of that attention for himself to prove that he's the best, that they're nothing compared to himself. Indulge his own ego and boost his own ego. And, you know, he goes performs and they're like, they're not comparing him to other people, but they're like, yeah, this right. He was just talking big, but you know, he can actually perform. He can actually perform, mate. He can actually goddamn do it, and he's really goddamn good too. I'm not gonna compare it to the others because the others were phenomenal as well. But like, you know, I'm not gonna feed his ego. He can say what he wants for himself, but he is good. He makes me want to listen. He is talented, and regardless of all that, at the end, this guy's not making any ticket money. He's not doing anything. It's just audiences coming to a broken down theater to watch for free. The sponsor comes back to see the theater come back to life. And you have all these phenomenal performances that hook you to the entire show. All these people learning to change for themselves, change for what they want, what they love. And oh my god, this entire story was beautiful. It was phenomenal. It is motivating. It is inspiring to make you want to follow your dreams, chase your dreams, and work hard. Persevere through every difficulty. Because difficulties will come in your way no matter what in life, and it's if you really truly want your dream, you have to be hungry for it, and you have to be willing to overcome any difficulty, any obstacle, and do whatever it takes to make your dream come through. And working with other people will always, and having their support will always be a big benefactor in making your dreams a reality. And this movie was just gorgeous, watching all of them work to make their dreams alive. And at the end of the day, to them, it wasn't about money. It's making their dream come alive. Make money off that dream or not, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to perform. They're getting the chance to perform. They're not getting paid for it, but they're getting the chance to live their dream of performing in general, performing for others, having audience praise them for their performances. Not just praise them, but rather just enjoy and let themselves experience the performance, experience the music, experience everything about it, and lose themselves in the music itself. You have the guy who wants to bring theater back to life, create a grandest performance that everyone can immerse themselves into and fall in love with, and he does that. He creates this entire spectacle of a musical show that the entire audience came to watch for free, and they fell in love with it. He re-brought the majestic environment, atmosphere of that entire sort of theater room, and he got all the money he needed from his sponsor for that, because she sees the vision he saw, and she was immersed into it. She fell in love with it all over again, like she did many years in the past. He fell in love with it all over again, and he's able to thank his father, who has passed on apparently, from what I was able to understand from the movie, and that he was able to thank him for making his dream alive, and he did not let him down in wasting his father's hard work and efforts in getting him the theater to bring the theater's majesticness to the world and sharing it with the world. And honestly, everything about this movie is beautiful, from the family relation there, of not wanting to disappoint his father, of his father working his butt off to make sure his son can live his dream and do theater, helping other people make their dreams a reality, bring all these dreams coming together to make all the dreams come true. Honestly, this is just a movie about dreams and making your dreams come true, and doing whatever it takes to make it come true without necessarily doing anything bad. Maybe avoiding paying fees to the bank until you can make your dream come true. But like, I don't know, that's just adding a little realism to it. But honestly, this was an absolute gorgeous movie. You know now, Sing 2 is definitely in my books to watch. I can't wait to watch this. I will watch this soon, 100%. I fell in love with this movie. It was absolutely gorgeous. It is phenomenal. This movie is one I love because, you know, it made me feel. It has you immersed into it. It has beautiful songs. It has beautiful voice acting performances. This movie is just gorgeous through and through. I fell in love with it 100%. It is an absolute banger. One of the greatest films made, 100%. I fell in love with it. I loved it. I love this movie. Beautiful animation. Everything about it is phenomenal. I love this movie. If you haven't seen it, I guess I spoiled a lot for you, but you will still love it. It is definitely one you can rewatch. It's definitely one that immerses you. I love this movie. That is Sing. Peace.